Hey, welcome back to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, comment down below, let me know where you from and who you a fan of. Let's get right into it, man. So look, Boosie put up way more stuff up for sale, including his chains, before somebody gets captured, basically, because what he did was he took the chain and the pinky ring and he put all of his other jewelry up for sale because he's still trying to get some of the bread. And basically he told Tootie Rod to bring back the Bentley and leave it in the garage because they got to clean it up and they got to try to get somebody to buy it off of them, basically. And so, and you know how Tootie Rod posted videos and he was live where he ran out of gas 5 times in that Bentley. That Bentley truck is they're not gonna get any more than 100K for that because it's actual videos out there with them running out of gas. Like that Bentley was on the side of the road and everything. And so even the GMC truck, everybody was talking about the GMC truck, and you know why? And it's weird that Boosie didn't leave in that truck anymore. They left it in that parking lot. They left it in the parking garage because it was hot. Like when they came in there and went through the gate first and they didn't let Duke in the parking lot. Well, the thing was is that it was Boosie and his driver in that GMC truck with his cousin and the security guard in the back seat. And that's why they were talking about how they pulled up in that GMC truck and then they ended up leaving it and then came back and got it the next day, like early before anybody even seen anything go down because they didn't know whether they was gonna run back everything and see the person who came out that back seat of the truck basically going and might be connected to, who knows, man, because a lot of people was talking about how that GMC truck got something to do with something. And basically, you know how Duke was driving his red truck, but he was far away. So it's like, man, did somebody pop out of that? Did they know what they was doing and that they was with Boosie and that could run back to him? Like, that's why everybody was freaking out about that and the whole situation, why they had to sell that car, they had to sell the Bentley, and now the chains and the pinky ring. And so that's a whole lot of things, man. It's like it seems like at this point, the $1,000,000 in 48 hours, like, because that night at that Lil Boosie concert and Plies was there, that's when Duke was actually showing the jewelry to Boosie and seeing if Boosie wanted to use any of it and rent any of it to go on stage real quick. Like, that's how some jewelers even make their money. Or if he needs to get a piece that's not clean and swap it out for a clean one, that's what Duke is supposed to be there for. But at the end of the day, they know that they wasn't going to buy any of the chains. So they knew he was just a walking lick, like he was just walking around with all that jewelry, all the cash in his pockets and the cash in the duffel bag. Like when somebody looked and they seen how expensive his truck was and the fact that he was walking around with the LV bags and he even had on like everything, the glasses, the chains on, the watches and the rings, then they were like, whoa, that's when they jumped. They knew that that was Duke. They knew that they had their person because they were told to look out for somebody that had everything dripped out and he was going to be parked alone in this old area. Like they already seen what Duke looked like from the dice game. And so if he came to the dice game like that, then he's going to even have even more stuff with him for the concert, especially because they thinking that the venue is supposed to be like top-notch security and that nobody's going to touch him. Well, when everybody goes back to their parking spots in the garage, that's when you got to be able to look out. That's why you always got to get a good spot. Like you got to get the one where it ain't too much in the cut or nothing like that. And so you can't have other people directing traffic saying, no, you can't come into the VIP parking. He's part of the whole VIP. And so that's why they cut him off from the VIP, even though he followed the driver. Like Boosie's driver was basically driving and Duke was behind him. So he should have known to tell him, hey, I got the 2 cars behind me, that's with me. But for some reason, that's when everything got misconstrued and it basically they put up the barrier and the gate down and they told Duke to the security walked up to him. He told him to roll his window down, and he said, "No, you can't go into this same lot as Boosie. It's not happening." So they said you have to turn around and go through that one and just go all the way around, and you're gonna still be by the door, but you're gonna be way across from Boosie and them. You're gonna have to walk a little bit. And so he's like, why? And they said, because they said so. So if they said so, then that means that, basically they was trying to make it so he was over there with nobody around. And so that way the play could be ran. Like, y'all got to understand that everybody was talking about it looked like a setup. Even in the comment section, they said, yeah, I mean, it could be a back door. And that's why that you have to watch, like, especially if you out of town and everything like that. Especially when people go out of town and they put their trust, like, oh, they could trust these people they're around just because maybe one guy has some money in the crew or whatever and he got some security, but that don't mean all that is for you. And so they knew that if Duke didn't come with no security and they didn't give him no other ticket or the parking sticker to come in, then it was like the whole thing, basically, everybody is saying that allegedly it looked like backdoor setup because they already had this stuff in line. And the fans right now, they're still trying to mourn the loss of Duke. And so before Boosie even goes to Chicago to do a show or a concert or anything like that, the OGs have to get the chains back and find the Louis Vuitton bags that had, close to $1 million worth of jewelry and stuff that was from the display case for Duke the Jeweler's jewelry shop. So if they don't get that back yet, then, Boosie's not going to be able to come to do any of his shows there. Like, he can't do anything, at the Bulls Stadium until they get close to everything back that belonged to Duke and whatever he lost in that situation, because technically he was supposed to be watched over by Boosie and his team, and they're supposed to make sure that nothing goes wrong because they invited him. At the end of the day, it's like you can't leave behind somebody when you invited them. You either go move as a team or not. So you got to make sure to let it be known. Like, Duke didn't think that he was gonna end up kind of getting left behind or betrayed, or you know what I mean. So when they betrayed him, he was just as shocked as anybody else would be when they find out they got betrayed. And once he got to that parking garage, if he could do it all over again, I'm sure he would decide to, go home, go back on the road and get back to Chicago. But at the end of the day, he tried to go out and support Boosie and everything at the concert. And so now it's like, before Boosie goes quick to come and go anywhere over there, they're going to have to get the differences settled. They're going to have to squash the beef before he goes out there, because they're not going to want him to go to Chicago. They're going to tell him that he has to check in. And when he goes to check in, they're going to say, you're not allowed. So he has to turn around and leave. So it's like right now, if he goes, it will be wasting a trip, just due to the fact that once he gets there or lands there or drives there or whatever, they're going to be waiting for him and they're going to tell him to turn around and he has to leave because he doesn't get a pass no more, because of the situation that happened where basically he didn't give Duke a pass to slide with him to the concert and park at the parking spot next to him. They made him go into a separate whole area that didn't even have a gate, and any goons can pull up and do whatever. And so that's basically what happened. And so that's why they took away his pass to be able to roam Chicago. Like, he can't go downtown or go to the Nike store or anything like that. And it's just the way it is, for right now. Maybe it'll